Hi, Reshma. Thank you for joining us today. You've had quite the adventure moving your project forward. So let me ask you some questions to try and tie your work with our work in continuing education. Continuing education folks, we're passionate, we're mission driven as you are, and we're focused on access and inclusion, so we have lots of things in common. And we want to ensure that all individuals have access to high quality education in the same way that you're looking to build diversity. So tell us what you've learned as you've built Girls Who Code and how that can help us in our work.
So I've learned that it's never too late to learn how to code, right? For many of our girls, they're learning at, when they're rising juniors and seniors in high school, and they think their career is on a completely different path, right? Maybe they want to be a veterinarian or a doctor. And then we expose them to computer science, and all of a sudden the light goes off in their head, and they're able to computer program. The other thing I've learned is that, for some of our girls who are coming from free and reduced lunch schools, they don't have computers at home, they don't barely have computers in the school, within 7 weeks, they're building websites and they're on their way to getting an internship at Salesforce or Facebook. Like, it's possible. And so I think for you, for a lot of the adults that you're reaching out to, who many of them maybe in one career are out of the job market, finding themselves unemployed with a skill set that no longer is, able for them to make a living wage, they can still change, right? Like, it's never too late. And I feel like that's one of the things that we've learned that I like to share with others.
So it sounds like it's a universal retool.
Yeah.
Get this set of skills and it just opens up a lot of possibilities. So you've said that when companies have diverse teams, they build awesome things, right? Yeah, there continues to be this humongous lack of diversity in so many arenas. What can we do together at the K-12 level, right, where you're focused, and at the professional level where we're focused, to change the conversation about the benefits and challenges of implementing diversity?
So I think we got to set goals. So every year we set a goal, right, of how many underserved girls we want to reach, how many Black and Latina young women that we want to reach, and we meet them. And so for me, I think we have a vision of what we want our classrooms to look like. And right now, I think in K through 12, our schools are so segregated, right, than they've ever been before. And at Girls Who Code, if you walk into any classroom, whether it's in Miami or Newark or, Oakland or, New York City, it's like, it looks like America. And I'm really proud of that. And we work at that to make sure that we are bringing in voices of all walks of life. So I think that you have to really, again, work at it, be committed to it, and have to set goals. And I think it's something that is absolutely possible. I said this earlier today, I think that one of the things I love about the field that I'm in of computer science is I really believe that technology can be the great equalizer. And I see it all the time of girls who are coming from homeless shelters, walking into these programs. Within 7 weeks, they are able to not only learn how to code, but they're on their way to getting a good paying job, which is going to take their entire family up into the middle class. Sometimes we feel like the American dream isn't possible. And I believe in my work, I see it every day. And it's incredible.
And I think we have that in common. We see it as continuing educators every day as well. Because as we change the life of the parents, we've just changed the life of that entire family.
Yep.
In terms of the possibilities and the potential. You've partnered with some powerful global brands to continue to evangelize your mission. We know that the game is changing when it comes to partnerships. What advice do you have for us in continuing education institutions as we partner with corporations?
Yeah. So we have real mission alignment with our companies, with AT&T, Adobe, Twitter, all of these amazing organizations that we work with. And so they need to find more diverse talent because diverse teams create better results. And their product and their consumer base is almost entirely, majority female and significantly of people of color. And when they look at their engineering and their technical talent, it doesn't look like their consumer base. And so we're aligned in making sure that those numbers change, and they don't change 100 years from now, right? That they change in our lifetimes in the next 5 or 10 years, and they radically change in the next 5 or 10 years. And so I think having that alignment, so they don't see Girls Who Code as charity, right? As something that's happening in a conference room somewhere down there that, they're just doing for brand cover. That they truly believe in having a pipeline of talent, that the talent pipeline looks like their consumer base. They really believe that, and they're committed to making that happen from a resource base, from all of our CEOs that are our partners come and actually visit a classroom and speak to the girls. Like, people are really engaged. I mean, some companies have as many as 100 mentors that participate in Girls Who Code. So it's this real family, it's this real partnership, it's this real sense that we've come together to solve this problem.
I like that, because a lot of times we don't think about bringing them to our consumers, right? To
Right.
our students, and creating a bond and a relationship, and making our students real
Yeah.
to the corporation. So I really like that. One of your main philosophies is that girls are taught to be perfect and boys are taught to be brave. You position coding as a way to teach girls that it's okay to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And that coding is an endless process of trial and error. Tell me,
Yeah.
it teaches that, perseverance, and it teaches
Yeah.
that imperfection is a part of life, right?
Yeah.
In continuing education, we have a similar mindset with our adults. They come to us and they always, for the most part, start with, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
Right? And we have to really work with them and say, yes, you can, and then put them through, allow them to experience it, and then be the support that they need
Yeah.
to show them that they do belong in the environment. What lessons or practices have you seen work at your camps for young girls that you think might work with adults?
So great. It's so true. I mean, I can imagine for you, right? So many people, like I always say that, when it comes to perfection, I think little girls have been taught to be perfect from the time that they're born, right? And how that's played out in our professional lives is we've then gravitated towards the careers that we think we're going to be good at. Now, what happens when you gravitate towards those careers and those careers are no longer lucrative or there, right? You then have to have a switch. And I can imagine for a lot of women that feels really uncomfortable and really scary. And so how do you support them through that process and support through basically making them comfortable with imperfection? They're going to learn something that maybe they're not immediately good at, but they can come to be great at. And so I think that that's what we do with computer science. So a lot of the girls are in our classrooms or in our clubs. They're not coders. They don't have computer science in their schools. Maybe they don't come from a family of people that are technologists. And the whole society has taught them that this is something that's really hard, that you have to be a boy genius to be good at this, right? So they're working in with it with a mindset that they're not going to be good at it, and that I'm not, this is something that I'm not perfect in. And so we basically teach them how to be brave. And we teach them how to be brave by trial and error, by trying and failing and trying and failing. And maybe you don't get the semicolon in the right place, but the whole process of coding is like that. And then when they get it right, it's that euphoric feeling like, I did it. You know what I mean? I made this thing happen. I created this. And it's like game changing.
It is game changing. And our students are returning to the classroom. They are scared.
Yeah.
And they don't know that they belong, especially when we're blending them with the traditional age students. It complicates.
Can you imagine how scary that would feel? Yeah. I mean, but I think, again, it's about teaching bravery, right?
Women warriors.
Women warriors.
Girls Who Code is very focused on the future and continuing in professional organization. A number of institutions offer programs focused on technology, but we see similar trends in continuing ed. For example, in one school's Master's in Information Systems program, on average, only about a third of the students are women, right? It is about creating pathways. This is a trend we see across. This question is not helping me. While there aren't many women in these programs, we see these ambitious individuals as potential mentors and role models for the young women you're impacting. What advice do you have for the adult women currently in STEM to lead, mentor, and to pave the way?
So I always believe in paying it forward. And even the girls in our program, many of them have gone on to teach probably more than 5 other girls to code. Right? There's something about us as women that feels like when we've learned our superpower, we want to share it with others. And so I encourage the women in your adult programs to go do the same. Because, and I think in many ways, any insecurities or doubts you have about yourself, when you're sitting with a young woman and you're sharing your knowledge, you feel even more confident. and more committed to the work that you're doing. So being a mentor is really important. Like, you know, I think it's really interesting. I'm sure you feel this way, B. It's like the women's leadership numbers when you were growing up are no different than they are today. And it's really depressing. And at a time, though, now where we're the majority, you know, we still speak of women like we're the minority. So I think that we have a lot of power, right? And our ability to, like I said, build this sisterhood and build a sense of community to support and uplift one another. And I think that that's how things are going to change.
There you go. I think in my years in continuing ed, there's been a sea change, though, in terms of the number of women in leadership positions. So it is one area where I've seen that change, and it makes me proud, right, to have been a part of that. How can continuing education and programs like yours work together?
So I think that there's a lot we want to learn from the online space, right? So there's still a sense that you have to have in-person classrooms in order to really get girls to stick with it. And I think this is the year that we're actually trying to innovate in the online space. So I think there's a lot we can learn together.
And we'll have to make sure that we make that happen. Yes. We've talked about mentorships and how important they are. How can institutions and folks in leadership roles help, right?
So I think, again, I think really, like, we've had a lot of universities at Girls Who Code that we work with that have said, come use our space. You know what I mean? Come host a program here. Come, you know, let us expose you to our computer science department, to the young women who are majoring in computer science at our school to help kind of build this movement with you. I said, like, we're all in this together. And I think academia and higher education plays such a huge, huge role in closing the gender gap in technology.
So I think that in our association and with our membership, you found new allies.
I think so too.
And I hope you take advantage of that opportunity to work with all of us.
Don't you worry, B. I absolutely will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.